Good evening. My name is Sebastian Hanna, and I'm here to talk to you about our work with the Natural Resources Defense Council. I will take you through an overview of our client and project scope, our methods for evaluating our plan, key challenges, a case for success, a case of a missed opportunity, and our concluding thoughts. NRDC is one of the nation's largest environmental advocacy groups in the world. Headquartered in New York City, they have over 1.4 million members and a staff of over 400 lawyers, scientists, and policy experts. NRDC has been leading the way in the fight for a sustainable future. As it stands now, NGOs do not track internal sustainability as comprehensively as the private sector and get sort of a free pass. NRDC wants to do the right thing and set the bar higher for NGOs. The purpose of this project has been to help NRDC showcase its achievements in greening its operations in order to provide leadership and serve as a catalyst in the field. The goals of our project have been to help NRDC showcase its achievements and identify lessons learned and missed opportunities, construct a communications template to share this information internally and externally, and provide recommendations for the future. The 4 questions that guided us were: how effective is the existing plan? Why did some strategies and projects prove ineffective or unsuccessful? Are there opportunities that NRDC missed out on? And where does NRDC go next? So this plan we're asked to evaluate. What is it? The Sustainable Operations Plan is a twofold plan. The first part is a collection of 63 projects that target management, efficiency, GHG emissions, energy use, heat, and waste. Created to target all 7 offices and created in 2012 with the plan to be implemented by 2014. The plan has since been extended to 2018. So the second part of the operations plan is the setting of percent reductions in the following categories. The client has since asked that water be included in tracking. These targets were set in 2013, 1 year after the operations plan was written. And again, the goals were for 2018. The first part of our job was to evaluate the existing plan. Before we could evaluate, we needed to generate a comprehensive list of all the projects and track down the progress and implementation dates. This was not being tracked by the client prior to our assistance and has since doubled as a communications template. To date, NRDC has completed 55% of its projects listed in their operations plan, while 29% are in progress and 16% not started. Of the 34 completed projects, we identified 18 projects that directly measure against the targets. In our evaluation process, we found that many projects were qualitative and hard to pinpoint their effectiveness as they were not that so transparent with their impacts. The next question we were asked to identify was why were some strategies or projects deemed unsuccessful or ineffective? As was noted earlier, only 55% of the projects have been implemented, when the intention was to implement all of them by last year, 2014. Through interviews with key staff, we found that budgetary constraints, time, technical capacity, and a lack of proper training were the main challenges driving this gap. When this plan was drafted, no additional staff was hired to manage the prioritization, implementation, and tracking of these projects. Therefore, existing staff were asked to piggyback this operations plan onto their existing workload without any additional time or training. For these reasons, we have found limited success in NRDC's projects, and we project success to stay limited if NRDC goes on with business as usual. Now that you have been familiarized with the target setting, here we have included the progress to date. We developed this chart as a communications tool for our client. The colors on the right simply show where NRDC is right now in terms of achieving their 34 projects. As you can see, one of the 2 metrics in green represent the green progress dot is emissions from electricity and heat. As the main purpose of our capstone has been to showcase NRDC's achievements, we will now share the details of one success case. In 2013, the New York City office switched from using number 2 heating oil to B99 biodiesel. Not only is B99 made from, our team has identified this as NRDC's most successful implemented project because of dual benefits. Not only is B99 made from 99% recycled cooking oil, but it also didn't need any technical or added implementation cost. Therefore, a zero implementation cost was associated with this project. Making the switch over to biodiesel has also decreased the fuel cost by 17%, as B99 is also less expensive than number 2 heating oil. This has attributed to $4,500 savings this past winter alone. Switching to B99 biodiesel also generated a 15% reduction in heat and electricity emissions. This was equivalent to taking 21 cars off the road in 2013. Because of the impact biodiesel had in the New York City office, we advocate this change to be replicated in the Chicago office, where the climate is similar, if not colder, in the winter time. As the Chicago offices are not actually owned by NRDC, we will advocate this change to the Chicago building manager with using the case study from New York. Next, we were asked about the opportunities that NRDC has missed. Our team discovered 5 key missed opportunities, but we will only highlight one this evening. It was the first, the first missed opportunity we discovered was Noveda. Noveda is the data collection system NRDC uses to track its heat, waste, energy, and water use. It was the first of its kind to track these things, and it would store the data virtually. However, this system quickly has become outdated and troublesome. For example, Noveda will often record large spikes in energy use that can't be accounted for. As well, data can't be drilled down, and this is why this was the biggest missed opportunity. Because you can't actually use, Noveda wasn't actually as useful as it could be. Our team therefore developed a database tool for the purpose of turning data collected into usable information to inform the decision-making process. This tool utilizes the existing Noveda structure, but allows NRDC to expand its range and capacity to get more out of it without having to change their day-to-day operations and investing in a new system. Not only did we develop this tool, of which I will summarize in the next few slides, but we also wrote a 30-page manual so that any employee can pick up this manual and train themselves on how to use this system. So currently, NRDC tracks the data with Noveda and it exports it into Excel. We have shown this to the audience to help understand the value of our new tool. As you can see, the data is uninformative and not very user-friendly, unless if you understand the numbers. By exporting the data into the new Excel-based tool, informative visual graphs and categorized information is produced automatically. Graphs are generated by metric or office, although we have only shown one of the simpler graphs here. Now NRDC can, for example, look at a weekend in the Santa Monica office and determine how much energy was used by the appliances that were left on. As this database has the capacity to drill down the data, they can select a time range for, let's say, Saturday and Sunday, and determine how much energy was consumed by a water cooler that someone forgot to unplug. As we have repetitively mentioned that NRDC have completed only 55% of their projects, this tool provides our client with the means to prioritize its projects based on visual user-friendly data. Our client also now can determine the potential impact of a project by manipulating the graphs and data with ease. To conclude, the last question that guided us was, where does NRDC go next? We have proposed a continuous improvement process that takes into account data analysis through the database tool. This will lead NRDC to improve its project effectiveness, improve on communication and engagement with its internal stakeholders, and help prioritize its resources. While implementing this tool does not solve all of NRDC's problems, it gives our client the tools to maximize their existing systems with little to no change in their day-to-day operations. In conclusion, By better helping NRDC account for sustainability in their operations, they will be better positioned to be a sustainable organization and act as a role model in the future. Thank you for your time. I will now take questions.
Hi.
Hi.
Good job. I just was curious if you know if the New York City office is owned by NRDC and if they were the driver of the switch to biofuel, or
Yes.
it was just a partnership?
Yes, it's owned.
Thanks.
James?
Hi. I was curious, when you identified all of the projects that NRDC could have done, did do, and didn't do, did you also look into co-benefits of what projects lend to other projects?
Yes, there wasn't much of the projects that had. So with co-benefits, the way I could answer this question is that some projects were connected, and some projects would tie into 3 targets, and that's how they were connected and had co-benefits. Yes.
Hi, I'm curious. You mentioned that there were 5 missed opportunities that you identified, and you talked about one and how you not only identified it but also basically proposed a solution. I was wondering if you did that for the other 4 and like what the other 4 were and kind of where that stands.
Yes. So the one I highlighted was Noveda, and the other 4 were air travel emissions. This was a big one because 80% of the NRDC's emissions come from travel. So we proposed recommendations to address this one. Another one was plug load metering. There was a problem with lack of education, and we told the client to address that. And there were other 2 that were waste diversion, and I'm drawing a blank on the 5th one. It was e-waste, electronic waste. So for each of them, we provided recommendations on how to improve them. Thank you.